keep my note here in front of me. Start recording. Okay, so welcome to the semester of intermediate Hebrew. I know I said this a month ago, but I took an interlude to focus us on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur services, which were really not the substantive curriculum of this class. So now we are to the substantive curriculum, the planned curriculum of this class, which is the weekday Chakrit service. And I will tell you honestly, this is the least familiar service to me because I did not grow up going to weekday morning, Chakrit service. It's so that doesn't mean I don't know it. I mean, I don't know it. I know parts of it. I certainly, some of the prayers, some of them are very repetitive. I'm familiar with that, but I did a bunch of research and I'm going to share some things with you that I recently learned. So,
is there a separate book? Is there a different book?
Well, so there are people who do have a smaller separate book, but yeah, I was exactly Siddur Sim Shalom. Oops, here it is. This particular Siddur has a weekday service in it, as opposed to Lev Shalem, which says Shabbat and holidays, Shabbat and Yom Tov. This book has weekday. And if you have, Barbara, do you have a book? One of you I know, yeah, the little teeny one, exactly. That one will also have, can you hold that one up again, Barbara? This little teeny version of exactly of Siddur that has the weekday stuff in it too. That's like a traveler's version, although it's a big book. It's just a small, it's printed in small type, and it's I don't know, is it 4x6? I don't even know that, but I have several of them up in my shelf, so it's pretty little. Doesn't matter. So that might have it too. What does it say down at the bottom, Geraldine? I can't read the English words. You're muted. You're muted.
Siddur Sim Shalom for weekdays.
That's it. There we go. Perfect. So that's what we're going to be using this semester to the extent that anyone has it. But I also have screens to share with you. But so let me jump in and do a little explaining after I take a sip of tea. Excuse me. Okay, so some of this you'll know, but this is from Jewish Virtual Library, the explanation of daily services. So there are 3 daily services prescribed by tradition: Ma'ariv, Chakrit, and Mincha. Musaf is an additional service for Shabbat and holidays, though it is not included in all synagogues. I find that shocking, but whatever. Okay, so Chakrit, the morning service, it includes preliminary prayers, Shema and its blessings, Amidah, and concluding prayers. It includes a Torah reading on Shabbat holidays, Monday and Thursday. Mincha, which is our afternoon service, has preliminary prayers, and the Amidah includes a Torah reading only on Shabbat and Yom Kippur. Ma'ariv, the evening service after sundown, includes preliminary prayers, the Shema and its blessings, the Amidah, and concluding prayers. So there are multiple reasons for there being 3 daily prayer services, but the usual explanation is that each one of the 3 was initiated by one of our patriarchs. Abraham, this is in Genesis chapter 22, we were told Abraham rose early in the morning. Regarding Isaac in Genesis chapter 24, Isaac went out meditating in the field toward evening. And with regard to Jacob, we were told in Genesis chapter 28, he came to that place and stopped there for the night. Excuse me. In fact, the prayer services are also substitutes for the sacrifices made in the temple in Jerusalem prior to its destruction in 70 CE. So Chakrit and Mincha, so the morning and the afternoon, correspond to the morning and afternoon sacrifices. The evening service, Ma'ariv, is not associated with the sacrifice. Rather, it derives from the obligation to say the Shema in the evening. The prayer itself tells us, you shall recite these words when you lie down at night and when you rise up in the morning. Hence, the Shema is said in the evening and morning, but not in the afternoon. There's also a tradition that Daniel prayed 3 times daily. There was a time in Jewish history when Ma'ariv was an optional service. Today, it is usually appended to the Mincha service. So most synagogues, you do Mincha and Ma'ariv, you do them together. While there's a great variety in the prayers, moods, and liturgies of the various Jewish worship services, there are also structural commonalities which mark them as distinctly Jewish. All Ma'ariv and Chakrit services follow this basic structure. So you have warm-up prayers. These vary depending on the time of day and occasion. Kabbalat Shabbat, for instance, is a warm-up prayer for the Shabbat evening service. The Shema and its blessings, beginning with the Baruch Hu, which is the call to worship, and including prayers on the theme of creation, revelation, and redemption. These prayers establish the common ground of belief and identity of the congregation. For instance, we are creatures created by God who created the universe. God gave our people the Torah, which was revealed at Mount Sinai and which serves as our guide. And we look forward to a future redemption, the Messianic age, which we understand from our past experience of redemption from slavery in Egypt, and which we expect will encompass the world with peace and justice. Then the Amidah, also known, of course, as the Shemona Esrei, is the worshiper's opportunity to approach God in a private prayer, reciting both the words in the Siddur as well as whatever prayers are in our hearts. Because the recitation of this prayer is a central religious obligation and has always been public by nature, it is often repeated in full by the Chazan after the congregation has been given time to recite the prayer privately. The weekday version of the Amidah is considerably longer than the Shabbat or Holy Day version, but there is this tripartite structure: praises of God, petitions on weekdays, and sanctification of the day on holy days, and prayers of thanksgiving. The model for this tripartite structure is how one would approach a powerful ruler, since God is the sovereign of the universe. On Shabbat, we live as if the Messianic age has arrived, and we have no need to petition God. Therefore, we eliminate the petitions and replace them with prayers sanctifying the holy day.
Sign up for the COVID shot.
Hold on. Okay, sorry, ladies. And then you have concluding prayers. The concluding prayers begin with Aleinu and include the Kaddish and a song on Shabbat, usually Yigdal in the evening and Adon Olam in the morning. The Aleinu bespeaks a time when idolatry will have vanished from our world, and hence God will be acknowledged by all humanity, sometimes considered a prelude to the Messianic age. Kaddish is a prayer which expresses the desire for and belief in such a time and is recited in memory of those who have died. So, this is the general structure. Some of this I'm sure we knew, but generally speaking, I was glad to have it all in one place. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me make sure I have the right screen up. I do. Okay. Okay. See if I can make this bigger for you. That look all right?
Yes.
I can make it even a smidge bigger. Whoa, that's pretty darn big, right? Okay, so if you have a weekday Siddur, I'm on page 2 in my Siddur Sim Shalom. Different books have different pages, but this is the very beginning of Chakrit. According to this version of Siddur Sim Shalom, it's page 1. At any rate, so you see the words right here? Birchot HaShachar. That's what this is, Birchot HaShachar. So I'm going to give you a little more English before we jump in with the Hebrew. So Birchot HaShachar are the introductory blessings recited at the start of the service each morning. It's a phrase that encompasses all of these beginning prayers, which are thought of as an expression of gratitude for the opportunity of experiencing another day. But I found this interesting. This was written by a JTS graduate, a cantor, and it's on mygewishlearning.com, but it's interesting. I liked how he expressed a lot of this. So the Birchot HaShachar recognize God's presence in the seemingly mundane acts of waking up, getting out of bed, and getting dressed each day. Taken as a unit, they are a beautiful expression of thanks that we have the opportunity to experience another day. Originally spelled out in the Talmud, these blessings were associated with specific actions. For instance, upon opening the eyes in the morning, one is instructed to thank God, who, quote, has given the rooster, the shvi, the ability to distinguish between day and night. When getting out of bed, we are to thank God, who makes mankind's steps firm. Upon getting dressed, God is thanked as the one who girds the people Israel in strength. Eventually, all of the 15 blessings were compiled as a liturgical unit and placed at the beginning of the morning service. Interestingly, the version that I'm just trying to see what the noise is. Okay. All right.
Marlene, can you mute yourself, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on my phone. My computer wasn't working. Yeah.
See if I can find you and I can do it. I can do it for you. I got it. Okay. Okay. Eventually, all of the 15 blessings were compiled as a liturgical unit and placed at the beginning of the morning service. Interestingly, the version that most Jewish worshipers outside of Orthodox community recite does not represent the original text. 3 blessings in particular have been reworded in order to change the focus to positive aspects of giving thanks. Blessed are you, God, sovereign of the universe, who did not make me a slave, was changed to blessed are you, God, sovereign of the universe, who made me free. While that seems to be an innocuous change, others reflect the changing face of Jewish life. Blessed are you, God, sovereign of the universe, who did not make me a non-Jew, was perhaps predictably changed to blessed are you, God, sovereign of the universe, who made me Jewish. The original Hebrew text of that blessing might be a source of discomfort to the modern era. Certainly, the author of those words was giving thanks for the privilege of being Jewish and an heir to the vast and rich tradition of the Jewish people. But the expression of those feelings resonates much differently in a world where Jews and non-Jews live and mingle freely. How would our non-Jewish friends and neighbors react if they felt that we gave thanks each morning specifically for not being like them? Instead, we articulate the fact that we are thankful for being Jewish, certainly a positive way to begin each day. Finally, the last of these 3 negative blessings may be the most misunderstood. Blessed are you, God, sovereign of the universe, who did not make me a woman. Now, I'm familiar with this because one of my dear, dear friends, Ruth Fisher, used to say to me regularly, her devoted husband wanted to be at Chakrit services early enough to say this. And she always poo-pooed this. Why do I need to rush to get there to say this? This is silly. But let me read on. Why would this blessing have ever been written down, let alone recorded for posterity in our prayer book? According to Orthodox Jewish law, women do not carry the same religious obligations of men. Specifically, they are not required to perform time-bound commandments, that is, ritual acts that need to be done at a certain time. At one point in history, this made perfect sense. Women used to be the exclusive caretakers of the household, taking care of the children and seeing to everything that needed to be done at home. It would have been an impractical and onerous burden to also require them to show up in synagogue at a given time each day. So a male worshiper would recite the blessing, who did not make me a woman, to express thanks for being able and required to fulfill those commandments. What did women recite? What did they give thanks for in place of that blessing? Blessed are you, God, sovereign of the universe, who made me according to your will. In other words, thanks anyway. In the span of a mere page in the prayer book, the blessings of Birchot HaShachar allow us to start each day in gratitude for what we would otherwise take for granted, waking up, having clothes to wear, and possessing the ability to see the world around us. These are all profound thoughts and often not first in our minds when just trying to shake off the fog after a night's sleep. Most importantly, these blessings help us remember that we live not only as individuals, but within the larger context of Judaism, with our ongoing goal of tikkun olam, fixing the world and bringing about change. Outside of Orthodox communities, the blessing regarding women has been changed to "Blessed are you, God, sovereign of the universe, who made me in your image." This emphasizes the fact that we are all created, B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. All right. So I was very pleased to find that, mostly because of that. I knew that of the blessing of for not making me a woman, but I didn't know that they had changed it, and I appreciated his explanation. Okay, so we're going to start with one of the very first prayers that I learned as a child, which I learned it as Modeh Ani. Marjorie, you raised your hand. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to, when I was much younger in religious school, and we went over this and we got to the, thank God I'm not a woman. I, of course, raised my voice in protest for this horrible line. And our rabbi and our teacher added to what you said and the explanation from the JTS student. He said, he added another reason that men, thank God they are not born a woman, they are not given the responsibility of giving birth to another Jew.
I thought that's where you would go with that. Yes, that is a common thing that we are told, right?
I poo-hooed it anyway.
Thank you very much. It's a blessing, right?
Yeah. Anyway, now I'll mute myself again.
Thank you so much. Anyway, so this Sim Shalom book is recent enough that we have Modeh or Moda Ani. So the male version of the word with the 3 dots and the female version with the the kamatz. So I will read the female. Moda Ani lifanecha melech chai v'kayam shehechezarta bi nishmati v'chemla rabba emunatecha. So this is thanking God. I thank you, living and enduring King, for you have graciously returned my soul within me. Great is your faithfulness. I think I have a slightly different translation in my book. I am grateful to you, living and enduring, for restoring my soul to me in compassion. You are faithful beyond measure. So interesting that these are both Sim Shalom, but they are different editions of the book. So ever so slightly different translations. But I think you guys need to read to me a little bit. So I'm going to call on people if that's okay, but you have to unmute yourselves when I call on you. So Lorraine, you happen to be unmuted, so I'm going to call on you first.
Yes,
Is this big enough? Can you see it clearly?
I can see it, yes.
Okay. Will you read the top line?
Sure. Moda ani lefanecha melech chai v'kayam.
Lovely, thank you. Susan, will you read the next line?
Shechech zarta bi nishmati b'chemla rabba emunatecha.
Emunatecha. Very nice. Thank you. We're going to keep going, so I give each of you a chance to practice a little bit, because I know I haven't had any of you read to me in a while. I've been doing far too much talking. So, Jane, will you read the top line? We're just going to keep going top, bottom, top, bottom.
Moda.
Moda. So this is Dalet.
Moda.
Yes.
Moda ani lefanecha melech hai
Mhm.
v'kayam.
Vikayam. So there's a under the right. Vikayam. Thank you. Mary Ellen, will you? I'm sorry for this long, challenging word, but you're next on my screen.
Great. Shekhe zarata.
Okay, so yes, and so
Wait
you
a
have to
minute.
You have to break the
Sheh.
words.
Yeah.
So give it-
Sheheh
that's it.
zarata.
Perfect.
Okay. B nishmati bekamala
So
rabba emunekata.
emunata.
Nata. I want to say emunato. Emunataka.
Techa.
Teka.
There you go. Right. So
All
I'll
right.
read it back.
Read
Very
it
nice.
again. Yes.
Okay. Sheheh zarta. B. All right. Sheheh. So that's a hey. Then a chet. He zarta. So sheheh zarta. B. Nishmati. Bechem la. Rabba emunatecha.
It sounds so much better.
No, anyway. All right. Audrey, will you do the top line?
Okay. Can I ask you why, you may have said it, I was in the other room for a second. Why are there two choices there?
The male and the female. So this Modet is the male, which I was only taught the male when I was little. The book only had Modet ani lefanecha, but now it has the female, Moda ani lefanecha.
Okay, that explains why we skipped the first one. Okay. Moda ani lefanecha melech hai v'chayom.
Kayam.
Yeah.
Bekayam. Excellent. Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry, but I have to scoot you all so I can see the rest of you. Okay. So, all right. I keep losing half of my screen. Half of my participants. Here we go. Okay. Marcia, are you able? I don't know if someone's with you or not. You have to unmute. Your computer's not cooperating. Okay, this is not good. Okay.
Now, now can you hear me?
Yes, now we can. There we go.
Okay. Oh, and now, wait a minute. Now I lost the screen. Hold on.
Oh,
Okay. Mora, Ani, which line am I doing?
Moda. So actually, I'd
Moda,
like you to
oh,
read the second line, if that's okay.
Okay. Okay. Sheheh Chazar Ta Bi Nishmati V'chem La Rabba Emunatecha.
Lovely, thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the top line. Geraldine, will you read the top line? We have to unmute though.
Moda ani lefaneka
Yep.
melech hai v'chayam.
Yes, perfect. Thank you. And Marlene, are you able to unmute?
Yes, thank you.
Can you
I
see
got
it?
it.
Is
Yes, I
visible?
can see, I have the book in front of me because
Oh,
it's just,
perfect.
it's easier to read that way.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sheheh Hazara.
Okay, slow down, slow down. So go.
Sheheh Hazrata.
Close. Sheheh chazarta. You're leaving out the resh.
Oh. Sheheh har. Sheheh hez rat.
So the Zion, because the Zion has its own vowel, you see the Zion with a straight line, so that's za, but then it goes into the resh, zar ta.
Oh, it closes the syllable. Okay.
Yes.
Sheheh har. Sheheh hezar ta.
That's it.
Sheheh hezar ta. Okay, that's the longest word I've done this morning. B nishmatai.
Nishmati.
Oh, it's a T. Nishmati B'chemlach
Mhm.
Rabba Emunatecha.
Lovely. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
I think I remember a song, but I don't remember it well enough to sing it right now.
I
Do
can.
you-
Okay, I was gonna say, I can't remember it. I remember a song too, but I could not get the, so yes, Marjorie, tell us what it sounds like.
Modani lifonecha melech chai v'kayom shehechazart bi nishmoti behechemla rabo. I can't remember the end of it. I'm
I
sorry.
can't, yeah, I can't pull it up, but thank you.
But that's the beginning of it. Somebody else may be able to come up with the last two words. If I think about it, I'll be able to do it again.
Good, and yes. There
I
are- there are-
remember Modani Lifanecha Melachai Vikayam. And then I can't think of the Shehazar Tabi Nishmati. I can't remember the end of it either.
Well, thank you though for giving us a little bit.
I
could-
can maybe find it by next week.
I couldn't remember any, so. Okay, some people gave us some more pages, so I don't, if anyone needs, so page 2, right, is in My Sim Shalom, page 3 in that small little combined book.
I was wrong. It's 2 and 3. 3
2
is
and 3.
English.
Okay, all right, well, good. Thank you all for sharing that. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next prayer, which in my book, it's just the third paragraph on the same second page. So it should be, we're skipping the washing of the hands bracha. Al atilat yadayim. We don't say that in Shul, we're skipping it. And we're going to Matovu. So I can't help but think of Geraldine, only because if you happen to have, again, Geraldine, if you find yourself looking at one of your musical books that has music to our prayers, I always learned a very simple version of Matovu, which we would sing in a round. You're muted, so I can't hear you.
You want to just sing that first part? Is it?
I will. Yeah, I'll sing it.
Matovu?
So
Is
I'll
that
hear.
it?
So I'm gonna. So this top line, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. So I was taught this at a very young age. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. And then we repeat, Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov mishkanotecha Yisrael. And so what they would do is they would divide up our junior congregation into 2 or 3 parts, maybe 4 at most. And the first group would sing that 2 times. And then the second group would get, so we'd sing it as a round. But I don't remember it continuing with anything beyond this line. Did anyone else remember singing it differently? Holler at me if you do. Okay, well, so Matovu ohalecha. So this is straight from the Bible, which is the recalling of one of our patriarchs upon seeing something saying this line, essentially, how beautiful are your dwellings and your places, Israel. So, and that's what it is. How good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwellings, O Israel. Slightly different ways to translate it. Again, my Siddur Sim Shalom is a little different what we're seeing on the screen. Mine says, how lovely are your sanctuaries, people of Jacob, your study houses, descendants of Israel. So this is a more modern translation than the version up on my screen. But then, so it goes on, Va'ani barov chastecha, avo vetecha. Eshtachave el heichal kadshecha be'ir atecha. Adonai ahavti me'on beitecha. Umakom mishkan kevodecha. Va'ani eshtachave be'echra'ah Evrecha lifnei Adonai osi. Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon. Elohim barov chasdecha aneni be'emet yishecha. So this, while we say it early on in the Chakrit service, part of this, if not all of it, is also what we say immediately before opening the ark, isn't it? Or is it the ark is already open? I'm trying to remember. But it's very common. We say it on Shabbat. And if you think about what we just heard, Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai et ratzon Elohim berov chasdecha Aneni, be'emet yishecha. So at least that's how we sing it at my shul. And we repeat it 3 times. And I think it's before we take the Torah out of the ark.
But that's when the Hag falls on other than Shabbat.
Yeah, okay, that makes perfect sense. Thank you, Mary Ellen.
You're welcome.
You're very versed in this, and I appreciate your contributions.
I can't say it, but I know it.
Exactly. That's why you know the ritual. You are less skilled in reading the Hebrew, but you are very skilled at knowing the ritual. And now we're just adding another layer to your knowledge.
Exactly. Does Women's League say these prayers? Because at Bethel, for Minyan, we don't say these. We start on page 8.
Well, thank you. So
we are grateful for our soul. That's where we start. So maybe people say this to themselves individually.
So I'm not, so that's why before I started teaching this, I asked Debbie Lempert to please share with me what she prepared as the curriculum. So Debbie Lempert is the co-chair of Women's League for Tefillot. And so for services, for convention, for instance, she will be leading us, I think, in some of Chakrit. I'm not sure if she hears, if they have a team of women. I'm not sure how they're figuring it out, but nevertheless. So this is the slideshow that she prepared. So I'm assuming that we will do this prayer.
Okay.
Barbara?
I think that some of the stuff that we would say at home, like the prayers for thank you this and thank you that,
Yeah,
that's why we don't start with Matovu.
I get it.
Right.
And some books, so I did a bunch of research. Some books say that people will recite this upon entering the building, or the sanctuary, but their service will start beyond this, like Mary Ellen is saying. So, but because I didn't create the curriculum, and I didn't want to shortchange you all, I am following what the co-chair for Tefillot has produced. Geraldine? You have to unmute. There you go.
This is also in combination with our bat mitzvah that we're going to be doing on that Monday.
Correct.
So a lot of this, I'm assuming, is what in preparation of what those of us who are in that class will be doing on that Monday.
I think so too. Exactly. Right.
That
Which,
also-
I think, for instance, did I skip? Hold on one second. Where's my? Oh, it's coming
Rachel,
up.
excuse me.
Yeah.
I have it on the screen what we're doing, but are you in some book I don't have?
The book. So you have to have. This is the same Siddur Sim Shalom for weekdays, or for not just Shabbat and holidays.
Okay, I don't have that one. Okay.
Yeah, so you have to have the book that has beyond Shabbat and holidays. I
Yeah,
know there are a bunch
we
of
have a
other-
daily prayer book at the temple. I don't have it at home.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. That's why
That's
I'm
all.
sharing my
Thank you.
screen. It's okay.
Thank you.
Marjorie, did you have a hand up? I thought someone else had a hand up.
I do,
Who's I?
Audrey. And
Oh,
so
I'm
Susan-
sorry. I can't see everyone on my screen all at the same time. I
okay, and
apologize.
Susan does too, but I have easy ones. Although I want to say this is not a screenshot from an actual book, or is it?
So this is a slideshow that
That's
Debbie
all I
Lin-
need to know. Yeah.
So, and she did prepare it from Sidor Sim Shalom, because she says so at the beginning. Oh, maybe she says it. Oh, she says it in the title of her document, Intermediate Sim Shalom. Yeah, so she got it from Sim Shalom,
Got it.
but I don't know what version of Sim Shalom I can switch my screen. So are you still seeing my screen?
Well, I don't think it looks exactly like my Sim Shalom, so I think, and I'm guessing not any other, so I think maybe she did put it together on her own. So I have two questions, if we could go back to that page
Mhm.
about what you read. One is, okay, the fourth line down, third from the end. Why, so you went and corrected yourself, but why? Why is that instead of
You ask me this all the time and I can't explain it.
Okay, but it is correct to have the m.
I believe it is.
Okay, and then the other question is, on the last line, second word, is that a katan? What is that vowel?
So
under the
this, I
ray?
believe, is, so this is this dot under it, yes. Is that a kamatz katan? But so it's a slight pronunciation issue in this particular book. So let me turn back to that page in my book.
No, I just wanted to understand what that, so, because I thought it would be like a giant, okay, what's the T vowel called?
Kamatz.
Okay, so
Kamatz.
I thought that it would just be a bigger kamatz, but it's not, it's like separated.
I don't understand exactly what you're saying,
I
but
think the dot is not connected to the rest of it.
that's right. But I'm trying to, so hold on. If you look at
I
the
know
front-
where it is.
Yeah, so you just have to look at the front of a prayer book and it tells you that that's indicating a slight different pronunciation at that point.
I understand that. I just didn't know how to
So
recognize.
the way I would pronounce this word, I was taught to pronounce this barov chastecha. So it's more like a O than an A. And that's what that dot is indicating.
That I understood. It was just how you actually made that vowel. I mean, I didn't realize.
I was never taught to write this vowel this way.
Okay, because this actually came up on Yom Kippur in my synagogue, because in that interregnum we have two classes, and in the second class we're going over Psalm 27, and it doesn't matter what we were going over. There's a word that depends very much on that vowel, so I encountered it again.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. That's all I wanted to know.
Susan?
I don't attend weekday services, but on Shabbat, our synagogue always starts on page 10
Thank
of
you.
the combined book. But they may do the meditation before putting on the talit. I don't know.
Right. So I wanted to do that next, which I need to switch my screen to get you that, because for those of you, let's see if I can find it. Here we go. So I'm gonna make this page a little bigger if I can. Give me a second. Okay, so for those of you in the bat mitzvah class who might just be deciding that you're going to wear a talis after concluding this class, or for your very first time at the bat mitzvah itself, this is the prayer for putting on the talit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef batzitzit. And absolutely, in all the synagogues I belong to, men would do this on their own, or anyone who's putting on the talit would do it himself, herself, as he or she puts it on, usually prior to entering the sanctuary, and the congregation would not do it together. So it's your typical introduction for any bracha that talks about a commandment. So it has the Asher Kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu. You've commanded us to lehitatef batzitzit. Okay, to wear these tzitzit. All right. So I'm going to look to page, yes, so page 10 in my Sidur Sim Shalom takes us to Sha'atzani Batzalmo, which is at least what I call it. Mary Ellen, does it have a different name?
Yeah. What do they call it?
Yeah, that's the question. What do they call it? I can't remember the name.
Why do I want to say Baruch HaShakar, but
Oh,
that's
well,
not,
so that's yes.
the beginning. Yeah,
That's,
no,
but
yeah.
that's not actually in the prayer. I think
I
that's just a
know.
general phrase for this section of prayers, Baruch HaShachar,
Right.
or Birchot HaShachar is what we call it. So,
Yeah,
because
they
you
go-
see at the top of the Birchot HaShachar is, but I'm not sure this book is going to have it. Hold on. This is here
Yeah,
it is.
they don't
It's-
announce the name. They go straight from the
Yeah.
prayer for returning the soul to this.
Right. So you can see on this book, it's page 65. In my book, it's page 10.
Mm-hmm.
But, and again, I was struggling for over a day to try to remember how I was taught to chant this prayer. And I can't for the life of me remember, and I couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. But I definitely was taught. I remember, I remember standing up there and leading it as, singing, but I can't come up with the tune. So, this Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan La Sech Vina Lehavchin Bein Yom Uvein Laila. So this is praised are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who enables his creatures to distinguish between night and day. Makes perfect sense. Bein Yom Uvein Laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bitzalmo. So this is praised, the same repeat. They all start the same. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. So praised are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who made me in his image. She'asani bitzalmo. Then the next one, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. Yeah, Geraldine, you have a question? I can't tell if you're raising your hand.
I am so confused.
Okay, you
So-
just shout out at me, girl.
Okay, so wait, we're not doing the tali or the tefillin
Okay,
or
so
the shakasani, whatever that is. Where
Okay, so-
are we?
So on this page that I have up on the screen, do you have a book in front of you?
I have two books in front of me.
Okay,
The big
So-
blue book, page 10, if you got the big blue book. No, I have the day book and the book they gave us for when we go to convention. But what is this called? What
so
is it called?
this is the trick. It's so it should say we are grateful. Mine says we are grateful for the renewal of each day in English right before this prayer starts.
Right.
Oh,
Geraldine, this is on page 10 and 11 in the blue book for convention. Hebrew's on the
Thank you.
right and the English is on the left.
all right, gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene. Okay, so okay, so let's read. Okay, so as I say, part of this is so easy, right? Because the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words all the way down here are all the same, right? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. And it's only the last couple that change, at least after the first sentence. But we need to get the first sentence down. So we will practice the first sentence. I'll read it again. So now people, you see where we are? Whoever has a book, got us? Okay, so the first sentence, I'm reading again, and I'll go slow. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan la sech Vina lehavchin bein yom uvein laila. Okay, we good? Okay, I'm gonna ask people to read. Okay, I think I got through everyone last time, so I'm just gonna start all over again.
Rachel, can I ask one more?
Yeah,
On, sorry, on the second line, the second word, why, there's not a vowel for the yon, right? Or is that a
so
vowel?
this word bane,
Oh, I thought you said bayon.
bane, yom, the next word is
Oh,
yom.
got it, got it.
Bane,
Now I got it.
yom,
Yeah, I got it now.
Uvein, lila.
Yeah,
Right.
sorry. My problem. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right. Well, now that you're already unmuted, why don't you read? Start at the top.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha yo. I know this.
Olam.
Ha'olam.
Ha'olam.
Thank you. Ha'olam.
I'm gonna make it a little bigger. Well, it won't go any bigger. Okay.
Okay. Asher Katan.
Natan. This is a
Oh,
new.
Natan. Asher Natan. Lesek. Lesek. Lesekri.
Sechvi. Yeah. Lesechvi.
Lesekri. Vina.
Yeah.
Lahab. Keen. Right?
Mhm.
Okay. Bain. Yom. Uvein. Wait, Lila.
Lila, nice.
Yes.
Lila, nice.
55 miles to the gallon I get in that car.
All right. Who's not muted? Who needs to? I can't figure out.
Marcia.
Yeah, and I can't find her. Here she is. I got her.
She's
Okay.
done.
Fine. Okay, I got her. All right.
Lila, that's beautiful.
Okay. So, Geraldine, would you like to unmute and read? You can say no if you don't want to.
Well, I don't want to say no.
Well, I'm going to help you. We're going to go slow.
Okay, but wait. Okay, so
There's just
will
a-
you put your pointer where you are so I can try to find it in my book because it's easy.
We're still on
Oh.
the very top line. We're still let's repeat that top line one more time.
Okay, here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. What is that?
Melech.
Yeah, Melech. Ha'olam.
Mm-hmm.
Asher Natam. Leash? No.
La.
Oh, Lash. New.
So
Lash New.
this
What is that word?
So this is a sin because the dot is over here on the upper left. This
Yes.
dot in the middle, ignore that dot. I don't know what that dot is in the middle. So this is a sin with 3 dots for e under it. So se. And then you have
it's separate. Lesse.
la, se,
La.
vi. La sech vi. Because this, you see the chaf, it has no, right? It's just a schwa
Yeah.
under it. So it's just a guttural sound. La sech vi.
Okay, la sech vi.
Yes.
La sech vi. Okay. All right. Am I done? Okay.
Keep reading. Keep going.
Ah.
The rest is easy.
Okay. Wait a minute. Kena.
Vina. So this is a vet.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Vina.
Uh-huh.
Laha. Didn't we just do this word? Laha.
It's a little different. So this one's easier. Le hav chin. So you see the A and the vet go together. Hav, and then the rest is chin.
Le hav chin.
Yeah.
Bain. Yom.
Yep.
I'm trying to get the good part of my glasses too. Okay. Uvyam.
Uvain. So we had Bain, and now we have the next one. Instead of a bet, it's a vet. So it's Uvain.
Vein. La. La. Oh, la la. No,
Lila for night.
Oh, it is.
Lila for night. Yes.
Oh, Lord, help me say.
You got through it. That you pushed yourself. Thank you. I'm going to read it back just so you can let your eyes follow while I read it. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan la sechvi vina lehavchin bein yom uvein laila. Okay. Good. So now let's get into the easier lines, okay? Mary Ellen, will you read the first line that just starts us in this big block of all the same first 6 words?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani bitzalmo.
Perfect. Lovely. Thank you. Geraldine, do you have a question? No, you're reading. Okay. You're just reading. Good. Thank you. Okay. Marlene, will you read the next one? It's the second one of the big block of all the same 6 words.
Sorry about that. Second one from the block. Okay. Pardon my nasal voice today. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asanu Yisrael.
Slow down. She'asani.
Oh, sorry. She'asani, that's a yud, Yisrael.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Let's see. Who needs to read? Jane, I think I haven't called on you in forever. I'm sorry. Apologize. I think I missed you on the last round. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani.
Now skip this ben and go to the bat.
Oh, thank you. But he.
So this is chorin. So you see the dot, the vav with the dot over it. Chorin.
Chorin.
Good. Perfect. Bat chorin. Good. Okay. Lorraine, will you do the next one?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach irin.
Perfect. Thank you. So again, these aren't too challenging because it's learning 2 new words at the end or 3 new words at the end. No big shakes.
Can I ask a question way back in the first line?
You may.
Okay. It says, and I'm using my cursor and it's not showing, but at the end it says Yom and it says Lila. And in the book, it says for the translation, it says night and day. Why did they switch that?
You're right. My book says night and day. Let's see what if she has the translation. This one says day from night.
Okay.
So it just depends on the book. And it's kind of the editor decides what maybe sounds best as we would naturally say it in English or something, or what the colloquialism might be.
Yeah,
but it's interesting because our days start at night. I mean,
that's what I was just going to say. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So and normally, so the things I read you this morning, they started describing the service as Mariv, Chakrit, Mincha, because our day starts with night. And here, this actually is Yom Valayla, right? So here it says day and then night. But and I'm going to mess this up and I didn't look it up, but in Genesis, does it say Yom Valayla? I think it does, as opposed to Lila Vayom. I think it says Yom Valayla, day and night. Created day and he created night. So All right, I'm gonna stop sharing because we don't have enough time to keep going. But so those of you in the bat mitzvah class, this is wonderful that you have the book. Geraldine, will you hold the book up so I can see it? I'm just curious what the book is. Oh, it is Sim Shalom. Okay, perfect. Yeah, okay, great. It's just a paperback version? Perfect, lovely. Thank you, Carol Merrill. Okay, ladies. We will pick up with this prayer next week. I sent you a brief list of what we're going to be doing, and I will continue to add to it. So if you want to look at them ahead, you're welcome to. Unfortunately, Behrman does not have any of these prayers. I was trying to find a place, but not Behrman. If anyone finds a place where it reads to us, you know, for practice, please share it with us. But so far, I haven't found it.
When next week will we be able to do the tefillin?
Oh, I can, sure, if you want to. I'm making a note.
Well, because we're going to be. Well,
and I skipped it. I apologize. So that's the bottom of page 4, and I meant to do it and I skipped it. Yes, I'm gonna right now making a note.
Because I understand we're supposed to be doing that at the convention too. So. Okay.
Absolutely. Now, that's not a bracha that I tend to say because I've never lain tefillin, but I certainly can read it and help you all recite it fluently. Okay. Anything else? Okay, well, we're on to the regular course of things. We don't have any chagim stopping us from having class, so we'll just keep going. Shabbat shalom to all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachel.
You're so welcome.
Shalom.
Rachel? Yes,
Rachel,
Marlene.
before you hang up, I don't know if I told you, but Andrea Ebert Matlaw came to the States after her mother had some health problems. She and her husband cleaned out her mother's house in 56 years. Anyway, yesterday they got on a plane with her mother, and her mother made Aliyah to join her family.
Wow. So very cool.
You'd appreciate
Has
hearing
she
that.
been living in Virginia all this time?
Yeah, alone. Yeah,
Wow.
she'd been divorced since the 80s. Yeah.
Wow.
And
wow.
Andrea had to pull her clout with a neighbor who's in the Ministry of Absorption or something. And it's like her mother's been involved in Hadassah and USY and the conservative and Masorti movement her whole life. The rest of her kids and all her grandkids are in Israel, and they were sitting on her visa on her so Andrea had somebody intervene. But anyway, I wanted to thank you for sharing your gifts and being my teacher and my friend. So
thank you so much for telling me that, and thank you all, for coming. And I certainly get a lot more out of all of this by preparing it for you. So thank you for letting me teach you.
I'm grateful. Shabbat shalom, and have a great healthy new year. Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.
I just need all the help I can get, Rachel. I know, I don't want to keep saying it, but sometimes it's like, whoa, what was that? So
I'm happy to help. Don't even, it makes me happy.
Geraldine, it is a foreign language being learned as an adult. Everybody talks about ESL. I'm talking about HSL, Hebrew as a second language.
Okay.
Well, also, I keep saying to people that while we don't play bridge, we're doing a second language. This keeps our brains fresh. This is gonna keep us sharp, and particularly in the things that are easier, English, much easier.
Okay, I'm gonna rely on your words because oh Lord, sometimes
you're gonna do fine. You got plenty of time. You're gonna do fine. Just show up every week and practice. It's gonna be fine.
Speaking of showing up every week, there is one week that I think I'm gonna be on a plane.
That's okay. That's why she records them.
That's right.
But I like to be here. Okay.
That's all right. But if you want to practice, just give me, toss me an email and we'll practice together. It's fine.
I'm glad I just looked at my calendar because actually it will be next week that I will be on a plane.
We will miss you.
I will
write it down. Okay.
Thanks, Carolyn. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, my dear. And I will share what we did today with my friend Edith. All right.
And tell her that her words meant a lot to me.